What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys the framework, a blueprint to follow to really start your wholesale business in 2024. Right? I know a lot of you guys are coming off Q4, right? Probably your first Q4 where you really got some good momentum, where you really got some good feedback from the Amazon business model. Right, probably, your first couple months, your first 4 to 6 months, you're really trying to start to figure things out and develop the confidence in what you're looking at from a product research perspective, right? Because remember, whether we're talking about OA or wholesale, right, the number one skill that you need to acquire to be successful in this business is really the accuracy in how you're consuming the product information and how you're consuming the Keep It data to make those informed and accurate and educated product sourcing buying decisions, right? So that's step one. And I know a lot of you guys have gained some really good progress in doing so over Q4, made some good money, and now you're looking to take that next step, right? You're looking to get a little bit more piece of the Amazon pie, maybe increase and kind of just establish a little bit more ease of purchase, right? Maybe allowing yourself to buy, 100 units at a time rather than 2, right? 1,000 units at a time rather than 10. And that's really where the wholesale model comes into play. And that's really the value of opening some of these wholesale accounts. And so today I really want to just dig into specifically the wholesale distribution model, right? I know we've talked about on this channel a lot about the brand direct model, right? And how there's kind of a differentiation between the two, right? There's pros and cons of both sides. We're not necessarily going to get too much into detail about the brand side of things. But today I really want to focus on the wholesale sector, right? The distribution sector, sorry, because the conversion is just going to be higher. It's going to be it's going to facilitate a lot more positive feedback quicker, right? You're going to be able to get accounts open quicker rather than brands, right? Reason being is these sales reps are usually in charge of multiple accounts, tens of different brands, and they're not necessarily as kind of like emotionally tied to any one of them, right? If you reach out to a sales rep under a brand, they have obviously stake in that brand, and so it's going to be a lot more gatekeeping rather than distribution, where if you can kind of meet the MOQ and meet sort of different order requirements, prerequisites, they'll probably let you in pretty easily, right, without too much of a fight. Of course, you have to build that trust. You have to prove that you're legitimate, prove that you're, going to be taking this business seriously, and it's not going to be a pain to work with you, right? Those are kind of prerequisites across anything you're getting into. But when it comes to the wholesale distribution space, accounts are just probably going to come a little bit easier. And so that's why we want to focus on, that's why I want to focus at today in this video, right? And so let's talk about the different ways, the different types of distribution accounts that we can come across, right? First and foremost, the first really good way to open up distribution accounts and find potential distribution companies to work with are through trade shows. Right, and if you spent any amount of time on Amazon, Twitter, you've probably heard us talk about ASD, right? It's a trade show out in Las Vegas. It happens in March and August, where hundreds and hundreds of different brands, distribution companies, wholesalers, etc., come and essentially set up a booth to meet prospective buyers. And the reason why these environments are really good to get into is from a buyer's perspective. It's really a perfect conjunction of these two different perspectives, right? We have sellers over here that are setting up booths, and their main goal of going there is to meet prospective buyers and sell their products and establish those new connections, right? They pay thousands of dollars for these booths, and their sole mission is to meet people that are willing to buy their products. That's where you come into play. You go to the trade shows to be the other side of that equation, to be the power, to be the buying power on the wholesale side of things, right? So trade shows are just going to be a very, very good way to meet sales reps of distribution companies, including brand companies as well, but distribution companies that are willing to and wanting to open up different new buying accounts, right? And so now you may ask the question, okay, well, trade shows are great, but how do I find them? It's pretty simple. It's probably a lot more simpler than you would think, right? So say, for example, we're into beauty, right? We're looking to get into the beauty distribution wholesale space. It's as simple as beauty trade shows, right? Throw that into Google, and you'll probably have a list of events that are pertinent to your particular area. Obviously, this is from me being outside of Philadelphia. If you do the same thing, right, it'll probably have a list of different results. And look, we can kind of work our way down here. International Congress of Aesthetics and Spa, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't take too long to find something interesting. Hair and Beauty Expo, NYC's premier wholesale shopping event. Right? Sounds interesting. March 5th. It's in, obviously, New York. Obviously, there's probably information on maybe buying a ticket if you need to, or address. Address is right there. So there's more information here. A lot of times, these sorts of trade shows actually have a list of their vendors on their website. I know SD does. Not sure if this New York's Hair and Beauty Expo, that one particularly does, but it's worth looking into, right? If you're in Canada, Canada International Beauty Expo, Cleveland Barber and Beauty Expo 2024, right? There's definitely a lot of options. Makeup Show NYC, Virginia Black Blue Beauty Expo, right? There's tons of different options over the course of the calendar year that may be pertaining to the sorts of accounts that you're looking for, right? Maybe this is tools, trade shows, right? Of course, different. Philadelphia Golf and Travel Show, yada, yada. Right, and just to kind of give you an idea, we will see ASD Las Vegas trade just to show you what we're talking about. And the cool thing about ASD is it's free. ASD Market Week. Let me see if I can find. Yeah. Actually, it's this one right here. So this website will give you all sorts of information, right? You see March 10th to March 13th. And the cool thing is, right, even if you can't necessarily make it, there is, and it may not be public yet, but there's going to be a vendor directory, right? This is going to be, along with the floor plan, all the companies that have already signed up, right? And so even if you can't make it, you can kind of work your way through here and establish maybe companies that you want to reach out to, companies that you don't want to reach out to. And if you go into Las Vegas for this trade show, you can kind of go in with a game plan. And so this is going to be number one way to open up potential wholesale accounts that are going to be really kind of quickly actionable for you, right? The second one is going to be just Google, right? And it sounds easy. It is easy. And I will kind of walk you through how that works, right? The Google way, the Google approach to finding distribution accounts is going to be pretty simple. And it's kind of built off of like a 3-phrase search criteria inside Google's SEO, right? And so if we kind of show you guys what we're talking about here, right? The first word is going to be kind of the Amazon category, right? That's going to be your leading coefficient in your search term, right? The middle one is going to be what we call like a volume indicator. And then the last bit is going to be location. Wish I could type. Right, so in practice, maybe it's beauty vendor Philly. Or it's beauty wholesale Philly. Or again, beauty supplier Philly. Now you'll notice we're kind of shifting all different kind of these similar search criteria, and we'll probably get different results for every single one of them, right? If we want to change it to grocery, we can work through vendor, wholesaler, or supplier pertaining to the same location, right? But we could also start to expand outwards, right? Pennsylvania. We'll probably get some different results. We could expand out even further. Maybe our warehouse, our prep centers in Massachusetts, right? Grocery, Boston, or grocery supplier, Boston, right? And so all of these different kind of phrases, right? These different combinations are going to give different results. And so you'll notice as we just start to play with Google here, look, off the bat, there's 10 different food distributors in Boston with their addresses, and we can probably pretty easily find their websites, right? And if we trade this to change this to vendor, Gordon Food Service, U.S. Foods, that's a big one. Baldor, Specialty Foods, Baco's, there's some retail stores in here, right? Maybe we would trade this to wholesale. VK Wholesale Chicago, MDS Wholesale, right? We start to really develop a list of suppliers, potential suppliers, pretty quickly, right? We can change this to Massachusetts, and there's going to be some different ones. UNFI, Nassau Candy. Yellow Pages is going to be also really, really good, right? Going to give us a lot of times phone numbers, sometimes websites, Davios, Metro. I don't know about necessarily some of these, but we have their address, their phone number, websites if it's pertinent. So to really start to combine a leads list pretty quickly. And you can just kind of work your way through different categories, different vendor, wholesale, supplier, bulk. That's another good one. And then, of course, different sort of locations. Now, going back to the final point here, getting back to that Nassau Candy Wholesale, I want to bring up one last thing, right? There's a couple of different ways to now take this final step into reaching out to build a relationship and kind of get this account opened. What a lot of people do is kind of go through and find like a contact us portal or become a vendor. That's obviously so we'll pretend that become a vendor is not there. A lot of people go to contact us and go to, and there's, a blank template right here. We have a sales at Nassau Candy. That's helpful. But you know what I'm saying? So like we'll get to a website of whether it be distribution company or just a regular brand, and there's going to be like a blank contact us template where we can put in our message, press send, and it goes into like a deep abyss. That's kind of like the lazy approach, right? What I am trying to get you guys to do is take that next step, right? I want to find a particular sales rep within Nassau Candy to send a personalized message to. And it's as easy as Nassau Candy sales rep. If I throw in LinkedIn here too, Andrew Fackler, sales representative, Nassau Candy, Jordan Rosenbaum, Felix Perez, right? I've one extra step has now landed me 4 or 5 different leads of sales reps that are in the exact company that I'm reaching out to. That's so much better than sending a generic email to the contact us message within the Nassau website. Now, of course, here we have a option to become a vendor, which is incredibly helpful. Not every time it's going to give us something like this, but a lot of times it's just going to be that blank template. And so we want to avoid the basic approach that a lot of people are doing. And so this is kind of the way to open up accounts, right? Find sales reps within these companies, reach out, inquire about the account. The more specific, the better, right? Provide specific products if you can, brands that you're interested in, maybe brands and specific products within that brand that you've had success with, right? Use your own sales data as an entryway into a lot of these accounts, and the sales reps are going to be intrigued and be a lot more open to working with you guys in an ongoing basis. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you did learn something. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you so choose. But with that being said, we'll see you in the next one.